Okay, here is a over 2 millennia old warning about the dangers of the machine, brought to you by China. Thus, 2,500 years ago, the Chinese sage Chuang Tzu spoke of the danger of the machine when he said, as Su Gong was traveling through the regions north of the river Han, he saw an old man working in his vegetable garden. He had dug an irrigation ditch. The man would descend into the well, fetch up the vessel of water in his arms, and pour it out into the ditch. While his efforts were tremendous, the results appeared to be very meager. Su Gong said, "There's a way whereby you can irrigate 100 ditches in one day, and whereby you can do much with little effort. Would you not like to hear of it?" Then the gardener stood up, looked at him, and said, "And what would that be?" Su Gong replied, "You take a wooden lever, weight it at the back, and light in the front. In this way you can bring up water so quickly that it just gushes out. This is called a draw well." Then anger rose up in the old man's face, and he said, "I've heard my teacher say that whoever uses a machine does all his work like a machine. He who does his work like a machine grows a heart like a machine. And he who carries the heart of a machine in his breast loses his simplicity. He who has lost his simplicity becomes unsure in the strivings of the soul." Uncertainty in the strivings of the soul is something which does not agree with honest sense. It's not that I do not know such things. I'm ashamed to use them. That's the end of the parable. Now to the Gutenberg Galaxy commentary. Clearly this ancient tale contains a great deal of wisdom, for uncertainty in the strivings of the soul is perhaps one of the aptest descriptions of man's condition in our modern crisis. Technology, or the machine, has spread through the world to a degree that our Chinese sage could not even have suspected or imagined. The sort of simplicity envisaged by the sage is a more complex and subtle product than anything that occurs in a society with specialized technology and sense life, like our own. But perhaps the real point of the anecdote is that it appealed to Heisenberg. It would not have interested Newton. Not only does modern physics abandon the specialized visual space of Descartes and Newton, it re-enters the subtle auditory space of the non-literate world. And in the most primitive society, as in the present age, such auditory space is a total field of simultaneous relations in which change has as little meaning and appeal as it had for the mind of Shakespeare or the heart of Cervantes. All values apart, we must learn today that our electronic technology has consequences for our most ordinary sense, or most ordinary perception and habits of action, which are quickly recreating in us the mental processes of the most primitive men. These consequences occur not in our thoughts or opinions, where we are trained to be critical, but in our most ordinary sense life, which creates the vortices and matrices of thought and action. Wisdom of the past, once again, coming in clutch. Anyways, just something to think about.